Recently, airline industry leaders met with the Senate Commerce Committee to defend the industry's use of nearly $54 billion in federal COVID-19 aid.
Yeah, this comes following major flight disruptions across airlines earlier this year and a labor shortage throughout the industry. So let's say hello once again to one of the hearings participants, International President of the Association of Flight Attendants-CWA, Sara Nelson. Welcome back to the program. And look, we've been talking about what happened over Thanksgiving for a lot of good reports about how things went with that uptick. What do you think now? This is going to be the busiest week of the pandemic. So do you think, I guess, are you optimistic, pessimistic? I guess what concerns you going into this week?
Well, first of all, travelers should be really confident that their air travel should go well, barring any major weather event, because that aid that Congress provided for payroll support kept us in place. We had some problems in the late summer and early fall because flight attendants are not willing to pick up as much time, as much overtime as they were pre-pandemic.
Sarah, you know more than anyone that this week, these next 2 weeks, will actually be the busiest travel weeks airline-wise than we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic. What advice do you have for travelers as they board those planes?
So travelers should know several things. First of all, when you step into the airport, you have to be wearing a mask, and that mask has to stay on until you leave the airport at the other end. You might want to bring 2 of those because there can be condensation while the temperature changes throughout your travel process. Be prepared to dip and sip when you're eating and drinking in the airport or on the plane. That means dip your mask quickly, take a sip or a bite, and then replace it again. Pack a protein bar or something just in case you can't get something at concessions with long lines, and an empty water bottle that you can take through security and fill up on the other side. Download your airline's app so that you can watch the entertainment on board, and make sure that you're taking a look at the flight attendants as you're boarding, saying hello, making eye contact, and then bring your kindness as well.
That might be the most important part of all that you just said. And so much of the lack of kindness has had to do with masks. Look, we've all been on planes. We've seen what you all, the flight attendants, have to do, remind people, and some people don't take too kindly to that. There was some mixed messaging, it seemed to come from some of the CEOs who were testifying on Capitol Hill about whether they think a mask mandate should be in place for planes, whether or not they think it's necessary. We do talk about how safe the planes are, but what's your stance on that? Yes, the mask mandate is in place, but do you think it's still and will be necessary moving forward, given how safe with the ventilation system that planes seem to be?
Yes, the airline CEOs were definitely focused on the safe ventilation system, but it's a layered approach to safety for the airline environment. You have to have that layered approach. And they confirmed with me after the hearing as well, and publicly on the record, that they fully support the mask mandate. It gives people confidence because you have the masks, you have the air filtration, you have the deep cleaning, and that creates a really controlled environment that gives people confidence to fly.
And Sarah, you've said this, the statistics support what you said, that flight attendants are facing a, quote, unprecedented increase in assaults from violent passengers. Has this been addressed? What more needs to change? What's behind it?
Look, there's a relatively small number of passengers who are creating a problem for all of us on board, and with record high levels of disruptions on board. This is really puts everyone at risk on board, and we can't allow it to go on. We've been working with the airlines and the federal government. The FAA has had a zero tolerance policy in place since January 13th of 2021. They have levied millions of dollars in fines against passengers, and now the DOJ is federally prosecuting with a real focus on this, with direction from President Biden and from the Attorney General.
International President of the Association of Flight Attendants-CWA, Sara Nelson, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.